What's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 196 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my bedroom. Today, I want to give you all the Week 8 recap around the NFL. I can't believe we've made it through halfway through the season right now. It's insane to think about. So let's start with the Thursday game that took place. The Bills beat the Bucs 24-18. Josh Allen, 324 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 1 rushing touchdown. Gabe Davis, 9 catches, 87 yards and a touchdown. The rookie tight end, Dalton Kincaid, with a touchdown catch of his own. As for Baker Mayfield, the Bucs, 237 passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Chris Godwin, 5 catches, 54 yards and a touchdown, and Mike Evans with a touchdown catch. So the Bills bounce back with a win on Thursday night. They go to 5-3. Their offense had 439 total yards with 115 of them on the ground. They went 7-13 on third down, so that's over 50%. And they had 26 first downs total in this game. Allen was getting it done with his arms and legs. The defense had no turnovers, but they did have 3 sacks and stopped the run. The Bills got the win they desperately needed, in my opinion. If they dropped this game, it would have a lot of people, a lot of fans around the NFL asking questions about what's happening with the Bills. As for the Bucs, they made it interesting towards the end of the game. Baker hit Mike Evans on a 4th and 10 touchdown pass, and then he hit Kate Otten for a 2-point conversion, changing the game from 24-10 to 24-18. However, a slow start on offense made it tough for them to win. It took them a while to get going, and their offense was just very bad all game. They had 315 total yards. They didn't turn the ball over, but they couldn't run. Just 78 rushing yards. They went 4-15 on third down. Baker also had a lot of missed throws. The wide receivers also had drops. And only something happened for the offense when Josh Allen threw a pick in his own territory that led to an easy score, and when the Bills' defense towards the end of the game kept committing penalties that led to the late fourth quarter touchdown for the Bucs. The Bucs defense, 2 sacks, 1 pick, but they still allowed 400-plus yards, and they also got no help from the offense. The Bucs are 3-4. On to the Sunday games. The Jets beat the Giants in overtime. The score of that game is 13-10. Zach Wilson, 240 passing, a touchdown, no interceptions, but 2 fumbles. Breece Hall, 6 catches, 76 yards, and a receiving touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 7 catches for 100 yards. As for Tyrod Taylor, he threw for 8 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks, but he left in the second quarter with a rib injury. So in comes the rookie, Tommy DeVito. He threw for -1 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, and a rushing touchdown, and Saquon Barkley with 128 rushing yards. So, the little brother of New York, the Jets, beat the big brother, the Giants, and advanced to 4-3. They won 3rd straight. The Battle of New York didn't disappoint. Very close battle. The first quarter, first few plays, Wilson is sacked and fumbled by Kayvon Thibodeau. The Giants get a field goal. They're up 3-zip. Both team exchange punt for majority of the quarter, and then Breece Hall rips a screen pass for 50 yards and a touchdown. The Jets are up 7-3 with a little over a minute left. They're up 7-3 to end the first quarter, so in comes the second quarter. The Giants march downfield but miss a 47-yard field goal. The Jets get the ball back and make a couple plays, but they have to punt, and once Wilson is sacked, Tyrod Taylor leaves with a rib injury, so in comes Tommy DeVito, the rookie. The Giants are going to have to punt, though. The next Jets drive, Wilson fumbles for the second time on a bad snap. The Giants capitalize, or the Giants can't capitalize, should I say, and the score is 7-3 at halftime in the third quarter. Starts with Saquon Barkley getting the ball, running really well on the ground. A few plays later, the rookie, Tommy DeVito, runs it in for a touchdown. The Giants jump up 10-7. Jets fail a 4th and 1. The Giants would punt, though, and the Giants lead 10-7 at the end of the third. So in comes quarter number 4. Starts with the Jets moving the ball midfield, but they'd have to punt. The Giants get the ball. They're able to move it to midfield as well, but they also have to punt. The Jets get the ball, but once Wilson is sacked on 4th and 10, the Giants get the ball back with just 1:30 to go. And they have great field position, too, the Giants. It's 4th and 1 at the Jets, I want to say about 20-yard line, and they try going for a 35-yard field goal instead of just trying to convert the 4th down, but the kicker misses. Graham Gano misses his second missed field goal, so Jets get it back with just 24 seconds left and no timeouts. Wilson makes 2 beautiful throws that sets up the game-tying field goal, and all of a sudden we have overtime. And in that overtime, the Giants can't get the ball. The Giants get the ball. They go 3 and out. The Jets get the ball. Wilson completes a throw, and then the Giants commit a penalty, and this sets up the game-winning field goal by Greg Zuerlein, and the Jets win. These two always play each other tough, no matter how good or bad the teams are, and it's just very exciting to watch whenever these two face off. It's like when the Cowboys play the Texans, no matter how good or bad those two teams are, they always play each other down to the wire, whether it's in overtime or regulation. I can't remember the last time a Cowboys-Texans game or Jets and Giants game ended with the winner winning by more than a touchdown. So it's crazy to think. It was definitely entertaining, even though the game was kind of bad. The Jets offense struggled with running, only 58 yards, only 12 first downs, and they were 2 of 15 on third down, but down the stretch is where it mattered. Zach Wilson and Garrett Wilson, the Wilsons, they made plays to get the win. The defense couldn't stop the run. They also had no turnovers, but they had 4 sacks and gave up only 10 points and only gave up 210 yards. As for the Giants offense, they didn't turn the ball over. They ran for 203 yards. However, they went 2 for 19 on third down. They had 7 total passing yards. Tyrod Taylor left with a rib injury. I hope he feels better because he's really not a bad quarterback. He's just been dealt with the injury bug throughout his whole career. And the rookie quarterback, Tommy DeVito, did all right, but he couldn't pass the ball. But again, they didn't really let him pass the ball either. Their defense, 4 sacks, 2 fumbles, but they made brutal penalties in overtime. And then the Jets and Giants in this game combined for 24 first downs, 12 each, and then 24 punts, 11 for the Jets and 13 for the Giants. And they both combined for 4 of 34 on third downs. Bad offensive game, but pretty good defense. The Giants dropped to 2-5. Next, the Jags beat the Steelers 20-10. Trevor Lawrence, 292 passing, a touchdown, a pick. Travis Etienne, 79 rushing yards, 3 catches for 70 yards and a receiving touchdown. Evan Ingram, the tight end, 10 catches for 88 yards and a fumble. As for Kenny Pickett of the Steelers, 73 passing yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He left with a rib injury in the second quarter. So in comes Mitch Trubisky, 138 passing, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and George Pickens with a touchdown catch. So the Jags stay hot. They get their 5th straight win. They go to 6-2. Their offense, 398 yards with 106 of those on the ground. The defense, 3 sacks, 2 picks, 10 points allowed, less than 285 yards. And the Jags are steaming right now. They're rolling through everybody. They're feeling good about themselves. The Steelers could have won this game, but missed opportunities. They missed a field goal. Mitch Trubisky was picked mid through the 4th quarter with a chance to tie the game. He couldn't cash in, they couldn't cash in off 3 turnovers by the Jags. Their offense had 281 yards. They couldn't run, just 70 yards. They were 3 of 12 on third down, 0 for 2 on fourth down. Just playing very bad football on offense, especially when Matt Canada is the offensive coordinator. And their defense, 3 sacks, 1 pick, 2 fumbles. But they couldn't score. The offense couldn't score when the defense would force these turnovers, and the Steelers go to 4-3. Next, the Eagles beat the Commanders 38-31. Jalen Hurts, 319 passing, 4 touchdowns, no pick, and 1 fumble. A.J. Brown, 8 catches for 130 and 2 scores. Devontae Smith, 7 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. As for Sam Howell of the Commanders, 397 passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jahan Dotson with 8 catches for 108 and a touchdown. Jamison Crowder, 7 catches, 95 yards and a touchdown, and Terry McLaurin with a touchdown catch. So the Eagles sweep their divisional rival to go to 7-1. They trailed 14-3 early, but outscored the Commanders 28-14 in the second half. The offense, 379 total yards. They had 8 of 13 on third down, and they couldn't run the ball, just 59 yards, but the pass attack is what got it done. A.J. Brown is the first receiver in NFL history with 6 straight games of 125-plus receiving yards, breaking Calvin Johnson, a.k.a. Megatron's record of 5 straight games. The defense had a sack and a pick. And as for the Commanders, their offense had 481 total yards, but only ran for 84 of those yards. They had chances to win, but Howell was picked off in the 4th quarter of a tie game, which led to an Eagles touchdown. The offense also went 0 for 3 on 4th down. The defense had 2 sacks, 2 fumbles, but they got shredded against the pass, and they are now 3-5. Next, my Cowboys, they beat the Rams 43-20. Dak Prescott, 304 passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. CeeDee Lamb, 12 catches, 158 and 2 scores. Brandon Cooks and the tight end Jake Ferguson each had a touchdown catch. As for Matt Stafford of the Rams, 162 passing, a touchdown, a pick. He also left in the third quarter with a hand injury, and running back Royce Freeman with a rushing touchdown. So the Cowboys come off a bye. They dominate the Rams, and they now move to 5-2. The offense with 409 yards, 102 rushing yards, 6 for 12 on third down as well. And Dak and CeeDee Lamb were absolutely amazing in this game. I thought Dak played his best game this season. And the defense, 2 sacks with a pick 6. They allowed less than 300 yards. The Cowboys have won 11 straight games at home. And as for the Rams offense, they were very bad. They had 295 total yards with 91 rushing yards. And once that pick 6 happened, followed by a blocked punt for a safety, you could tell the game was already out of reach in the first quarter for the Rams. The defense had 3 sacks and a pick, but they got destroyed through the air. They couldn't stop the pass, and now the Rams are 3-5. The next game is the Vikings beating the Packers 24-10. Kirk Cousins, 274 passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. He left the game with an Achilles injury in the fourth quarter. The rookie Jordan Addison stays hot, 7 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Tight end TJ Hockenson, 6 catches for 88 yards and a score. As for Jordan Love of the Packers, 229 passing, 1 pick, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and Romeo Dobbs with a touchdown catch. So the Vikings get to 500 with a 4-4 record, won their 3rd straight game, and they beat their divisional rival on the road. The sad news, though, is that Kirk Cousins has a torn Achilles, and he's going to miss the rest of the season, which is such a shame because he was balling out of control. He was playing an MVP-type level season, and the team was just starting to heat up overall. So get well soon, Kirk. It was sad to see that happen. And as for the run game, they struggled. 62 yards, but the offense finished with 359 yards. A pass game heated up. They went 10 of 6. They went 10 of 18 on third down, had 24 first downs versus the Packers 16, and they controlled the clock with 36 minutes while the Packers only had 23 minutes. And the defense, 4 sacks, 1 pick, only allowed 10 points. The Green Bay offense had 303 yards. They only ran for 74. They were 5 of 14 on third down, 1 of 4 on fourth down, and Jordan Love just looks confused out there. Incompletions, overthrows, interceptions that in the third quarter that led to a Vikings TD and a 24-23 lead. The defense had 3 sacks, 1 fumble, but unable to stop the pass. And also 11 penalties for 99 yards would not help the Packers win. They've now lost 4 straight and are now 2-5. Next, the Titans beat the Falcons 28-23. The rookie quarterback Will Levis, 238 passing, 4 touchdowns, no picks. DeAndre Hopkins, 4 catches, 128 and 3 touchdowns, and Derrick Henry with 101 rushing yards. As for Desmond Ridder, 71 passing yards, no touchdowns, no picks, a fumble, and was benched. So in comes Taylor Heineke, 175 passing, a touchdown, and no picks. Bijan Robinson, the rookie, with 62 rushing yards and a touchdown. So the Titans come off of a bye week with a win. They now go to 3-4, and the rookie quarterback Will Levis makes his first start and balled out of control in his first start. I hope he celebrated with putting some mayonnaise in his coffee. For those who know, that's his thing. That's what he likes to do. We all have our weird food combinations, and that's his. And you know what? He deserves a cup of mayonnaise coffee because he is the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4 touchdowns and no picks in his first career start. The offense had 387 yards, 149 by rushing, and Levis just rejuvenated this offense. It's safe to say he's definitely going to be the starter. And as for the defense, they had 6 sacks, 1 fumble, and the Titans, they won in style with those throwback uniforms. Those things are so cool. The old Houston Oilers jerseys, they look nice. They should wear them more, in my opinion. As for Atlanta, Desmond Ridder was benched at halftime. Taylor Heineke steps in and plays pretty good football. They trailed 28-16 halfway through the fourth quarter. They got a touchdown to trail 28-23 with 2.5 minutes left. The Titans would have to punt, and they got the ball back, and they had the chance to win, but they fell off 4th and 1. The offense had 386 total yards. They ran for 140, but they struggled on third down. Heineke, I think, needs to be the starter. He has way more experience and way more of a veteran than Desmond Ridder is. The defense had 2 sacks. They had 1 fumble, but they got destroyed both through the air and on the ground. The Falcons go to 4-4. The next game, the Dolphins beat the Patriots 31-17. Tua Tagovailoa, 324 passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and a fumble. Jalen Waddle, 7 catches for 121 and a touchdown. And Tyreek Hill, 8 catches for 112 and a touchdown. As for Mac Jones and the Pats, 161 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Kendrick Bourne and Juju Smith-Schuster each had a touchdown catch. So the Dolphins bounced back with a win. They go to 6-2 on the season and swept their divisional rival. The offense had 402 total yards. They struggled running, though. They only had 78 rushing yards, but they were 3 of 3 on fourth down, and they had 24 first downs, while the Pats only had 13. The defense had 3 sacks, 1 pick, allowed less than 240 yards, and after being down 24-10, the Pats started to come back and made it interesting. They got a touchdown to trail 24-17 with 8 minutes left. However, the defense gave up a touchdown following that. The Pats offense had 238 total yards, 77 rushing yards, were 1 for 9 on third down. They were just absolutely terrible this game, absolutely sickening to watch. The defense had 2 sacks, 1 punt, 1 pick, 1 fumble, but they couldn't stop the pass game. They gave up 400 plus total yards, and the Pats dropped to 2-6. Next, the Saints beat the Colts 38-27. Derek Carr, 310 passing, 2 touchdowns, no pick, and a fumble. Kamara had a rushing and receiving touchdown. And Rashid Shaheed, 3 catches for 153 and a touchdown. And let's not forget Taysom Hill, 2 rushing touchdowns on the afternoon. Gardner Minshew, 213 passing, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Zach Moss with a rushing touchdown, and Michael Pittman Jr. with a receiving touchdown. So the Saints bounced back with a win. They moved to 4-4. Their offense went off for 515 total yards. They were 6 of 12 on third down, so 50%. And the run game just took off. 161 plus 3 touchdowns between Kamara and Taysom Hill, doing most of the dirty work, as the defense got 2 sacks and a pick. And after the Saints led 21-20 at halftime, they outscored the Colts 17-7 in the second half. The Saints needed this win, especially after the loss versus the Jaguars last Thursday, because players were arguing with each other, screaming at each other. And then there was that Chris Olave incident in the beginning of last week where he got arrested for recklessly driving through a neighborhood where he was going 75 and a 25. So there's a lot of distractions. They were able to overcome that. The Colts offense, 377 total yards. They had 164 rushing yards, but they came out flat in the second half. The defense had a sack, a fumble, but they gave up 500 plus yards for 38 points. The Colts dropped to 3-5. Next, the Panthers beat the Texans 15-13. Bryce Young, the rookie, 235 passing, a touchdown, no picks. The tight end, Tommy Tremble, with a touchdown catch. And my man, Adam Thielen, 8 catches for 72 yards. As for another rookie, C.J. Stroud, 140 passing, no touchdowns, no picks, but he did have a rushing touchdown. And Andrew Beck had a rushing touchdown plus a fumble. So the Panthers come off a bye week and they get a win. They get their first win of the season to go to 1-6. There's no more winless teams in the NFL. And the kicker, Eddie Pinheiro, secured the win with a 23-yard field goal as time expired. The offense, 279 yards. They couldn't run the ball for just 44 yards. But the interesting is that they didn't turn the ball over. The rookie Bryce Young, he got his first win in the NFL, and in my opinion, he did great. He outdueled the other rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud, who was drafted after him. And the defense had 2 sacks, a fumble, and allowed just 250 yards for 13 points. Let's get into the Texans offense. 250 yards total. They ran for $110. The costly fumble in the third quarter, though, by Andrew Beck led to the Panthers' field goal. And the defense, had 6 sacks. But they couldn't force a turnover in this game. And although I picked the Texans to win, I said that they could lose, and they most certainly did. The Texans come back from a bye week with an L, and they are now 3-4 on the season. Next, the Seahawks beat the Browns 24-20. Geno Smith, 254 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Tyler Lockett, 8 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. The rookie, Jackson Smith-Njigba, had the game-winning touchdown catch. As for P.J. Walker of the Browns, 248 passing, a touchdown, 2 picks, 1 fumble. Tight end David Njoku, 4 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. And Kareem Hunt with a rushing touchdown. So in their throwback uniforms, the Seahawks get a win to go to 5-2. They started with a 17-7 first quarter lead, when suddenly with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, they trail 20-17. Their defense comes up big with a tipped interception that gave the ball back to the offense with 1:50 remaining. 40 seconds left. The rookie wide receiver, Smith-Njigba, scores the go-ahead touchdown. The defense gets a sack and forces an incompletion on fourth down to end the game. And the offense finishes with 368 total yards, 114 rushing yards. Geno Smith had bad moments, but he showed up when it mattered late in the game. And as for the defense, 3 sacks, 2 picks, a fumble, and clutch plays late down the stretch. And as for the Browns offense, 421 yards total, 155 rushing yards, but they turned the ball over 3 times. They fought back from a 17-7 deficit early on, and they could have won, but that interception by Walker that was tipped, it really hurt them. And then in the fourth quarter, a defensive back for the Browns dropped a walk-in pick 6 in the middle of the fourth quarter. And the Browns defense had a sack, 2 picks, but they allowed 350-plus yards. And the 3 turnovers by the offense set them up with short field. The Browns go to 4-3. Next, the Bengals beat the Niners 31-17. Joe Burrow, 283 passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Jamar Chase, 10 catches, 100 yards and a touchdown. And Joe Mixon, 87 rushing yards and a touchdown. As for Brock Purdy of the Niners, 365 passing, a touchdown, 2 picks and a fumble. George Kittle, 9 catches for 149. Brandon Ayuk, 5 catches for 109. And Christian McCaffrey, 54 rushing yards with a rushing touchdown. He also had 6 catches for 64 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. So the Bengals are able to come off of a bye. They get a road on the win. They won 3 straight games. They're now 4-3. The offense was all gas and no breaks with 470 total yards. The run game was a lot better too. They had 134 yards. Joe Burrow was using his legs, and you can tell that calf is finally healthy. As for the defense, they had 2 sacks, 2 picks, 1 fumble. All 3 turnovers were caused in the fourth quarter. And what can I say? The Bengals are officially back. Unlike the Niners, their offense had 478 total yards with 113 rushing yards, but Purdy was awful in the fourth quarter with those 3 total turnovers. The defense had 3 sacks, 1 fumble, but they got gashed for 400-plus yards. And what's up with the Niners lately? After starting 5-0, they've lost 3 straight. They're now 5-3, starting to get exposed a little bit. You can't really panic yet, but there's definitely some concerns. Next, the Broncos beat the Chiefs 24-9. Russell Wilson, 114 passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks, a fumble. Javonte Williams, 85 rushing yards, a receiving touchdown. And Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton with touchdown catches each. As for Patrick Mahomes, 241 passing, no touchdowns, 2 picks, and a fumble. Travis Kelce, 6 catches for 58 yards. So it took 8 years, but for the first time since 2015, the Broncos beat their divisional rival, the Chiefs. The Broncos snap a 16-game losing streak over them. The Broncos now are 3-5 on the season, and the offense didn't light it up necessarily, just 267 yards, but the run game took off for 153 yards. The defense, 3 sacks, 2 picks. They had 2 fumbles as well. They allowed just 9 points with no touchdowns either. The special teams made a play. They recovered a muff punt, which led to a touchdown. The Broncos had 5 total turnovers in this game, and 3 of those turnovers led them to 17 points. And the Broncos just got to be happy to win against the Chiefs, because the last time they did that, I wasn't legally allowed to drink alcohol. I was 20 years old, and I'm 28 now, and Peyton Manning was still their quarterback. So it was the last year of Peyton Manning when they won the Super Bowl. So it's been a long time since the Broncos have beaten them. As for the Chiefs, they were just god-awful. They were disgusting. On offense, 303 total yards. They only ran for 62 yards, but they were 3 for 10 on third down, 1 for 3 on fourth down, just 9 points and no touchdowns. They had no second-half points either, and they had 4 turnovers by Patrick Mahomes, 5 total. McCole Hardman had the muff punt on special teams, which was the beginning of fourth quarter, probably was the biggest play because the Chiefs were only down 14-9 at this point, but the muff punt led to a Denver touchdown and a 21-9 lead. The defense had 6 sacks. They had a fumble. They allowed less than 270 yards, but they couldn't have the offense help them out at all. The Chiefs' 6-game win streak is now snapped. They go to 6-2 on the season. The next game is the Ravens beating the Cardinals 31-24. Lamar Jackson, 157 passing, a touchdown, no picks. Gus Edwards, 80 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Mark Andrews with a touchdown catch. Josh Jacobs of the Cardinals, 208 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He also had 1 rushing touchdown. Trey McBride, the tight end, 10 catches, 95 yards and a touchdown. And Marquise Hollywood Brown with a touchdown catch. So the Ravens improved to 6-4. The offense only 287 yards. But they ran for 130 and didn't turn the ball over. The defense with 2 sacks and 2 picks. The Ravens are starting to heat up really good. And as for the Cardinals, they trailed 14-7 at halftime. Then they trailed suddenly 24-7 midway through the fourth quarter, but made it a 24-15 game with 5 minutes to go. A Ravens touchdown made it 31-15 with just a little over 2.5 minutes to go. And then the Cardinals got a touchdown of their own. They failed the 2-point conversion. And with 1:15 left, they trailed 31-21. The Cardinals, they were able to recover an onside kick and hit a field goal. And now they're only down 31-24 with 30 seconds left. They tried another onside kick, but they failed, and the game ends. Their offense, 337 total yards with 129 rushing yards, but 2 picks by Josh Dobbs, especially the one in the red zone in the third quarter that was picked off by them, led to 7 points for the Ravens and a 21-7 lead. The offense also went 0-2 on 4th down. The defense had 4 sacks. They couldn't force a turnover, though. The Cardinals dropped to 1-7 with 5 straight losses. The next game is the Chargers beating the Bears 30-13. Justin Herbert, 298 passing, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Austin Eckler, 7 catches for 99 yards and a touchdown. And he also fumbled the ball, too. And as for Donald Parham, the tight end, with a touchdown catch, the rookie for the Bears, the quarterback, Tyson Bagent, 232 passing, no touchdowns, 2 picks, 1 rushing score. And Cole Kmet, the tight end, 10 catches for 79 yards. So the Chargers get a win, in my opinion, that they desperately needed. They're now 3-4. The offense with 352 total yards, only 54 rushing yards, but the pass game was able to get the job done. They also went 7 for 13 on 3rd down. Herbert bounced back with a good game. He didn't turn the ball over like he has been lately. And the defense, they had a sack, 2 picks. They gave up 13 points, and they stopped the Chicago offense. And speaking of the Bears offense, just not that good at all. 305 total yards, just 73 rushing yards, 1 for 4 on 4th down. The defense had a fumble, but they had no sacks, and they gave up more than 350-plus yards and 30 points. The Bears got dominated by the Chargers this entire game and dropped to 206. The final game is the Monday night game. The Lions beat the Raiders 26-14. Jared Goff, 272 passing, a touchdown, a pick. The rookie Jahmyr Gibbs, 152 rushing and a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 catches for 108. And the rookie tight end Sam Laporta, 8 catches, 57 yards and a touchdown. As for Jimmy G, 126 passing, no touchdowns and a pick, and Josh Jacobs with 61 rushing yards and a touchdown. So the Lions respond with a win on Monday night. They go to 6-2. Their offense erupted for 494 yards. The run game had a day with 222 total yards. The defense, 6 sacks, 1 pick, allowed the Raiders offense just 7 points and held them under 210 yards. The Lions bounced back after a beatdown last week. They were able to handle that adversity very well. As for the Raiders, what can I say? Hot garbage. Hot garbage. The offense, 206 total yards, ran for just 80. 1 for 9 on 3rd down. 0 for 3 on 4th down. Just 12 first downs while the Lions had 29 of them. The time of possession, the Raiders only had 20 minutes of possession while the Lions had 34. And Jimmy G was just awful. He is god-awful. The head coach, Josh McDaniels, needs to be fired. And Davante Adams, their star wide receiver, he needs to be traded. Deserves better. You saw him on the sideline slam his helmet on the ground, and he mouthed off, "I can't effing deal with this BS." And you can't blame him. You really can't blame him, because there was 2 plays where he had a 99-yard touchdown and then like a 65-yard touchdown. He was wide open, and Jimmy G threw the ball in the stands or overthrew him. So you can't blame that guy at all. I'm sure Davante Adams fantasy owners are cringing right now, and I would be too if I had him. As for the defense, they almost gave up 500 yards, but they were way more productive than the offense. They scored the same amount of points as the offense. I mean, they had a sack, they had 2 fumbles, and a pick 6, but sadly, the offense was just an absolute clown show. It was an absolute joke. The Raiders dropped to 3-5. So that's it for my Week 8 recap around the NFL. Let me know what you guys think. What was your favorite game? What was your least favorite game? What did you expect to happen? What didn't you expect to happen? I love hearing feedback, so I want to hear you guys chat. Let's interact. Let's exchange some information about what we thought of these games this week. So if you like this content, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on my Instagram. Take care and have a wonderful night.